And now joining us for an all-out discussion on the country's performance at the Tokyo Paralympics is Mr. Mike Barredo, the president of the Philippine Paralympic Committee. Sir Mike, good morning. Thank you for being here on Sports Desk on CNN Philippines, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is ours. Sir, your thoughts on our team's overall campaign, your assessment?
You know, this is probably the most difficult participation to make an assessment of. I could say it was really something very challenging, full of anxiety and easiness. I would say half the time we were anxious of whether somebody would have tested positive, et cetera, et cetera. From the preparations to the participation itself and all the way towards the end, I would say there were all these challenges and anxiety. However, my heart goes out to our athletes that participate. You mentioned Gerald, Gary, and Ernie.
Yeah.
Gawil, and I believe that they did their personal bests and did their best, of course, for the country. And I would say that, as we mentioned earlier, all of them, including those that were unable to make it, my heart goes out to them as well. Because of their aspirations, whereas, of course, doused by the fact that they were not even able to come to the Paralympic Games itself. So my heart goes out to all of them. But as those that were chosen and qualified to participate, they are winners. As far as we're concerned, I think the country's concerned. So congratulations to them too. And I think we have to prepare for the future.
I agree with you. Prepare for the future, and congratulations to our team nonetheless. Sir, you mentioned the unfortunate circumstances, of course. Some athletes of ours weren't able because of COVID. But what do you think could our delegates could have done better, sir, in your opinion?
Mel, in the case of the COVID itself, I suppose that's something nobody can really be sure of course. We went through the process of the bubbles and, of course, keeping social distancing and all those protocols necessary. And then, of course, we had the 2 swab tests necessary prior to going to Japan, to Tokyo. And then we had, upon arrival, antigen tests all the way up to the end of the games.
Wow.
We had all these tests. Unfortunately, some of our officials and 3 of our athletes were not able to participate. 2 stayed in Manila. You mentioned Achel or Jinky Dion for powerlifting, and Elaine, who I feel Elaine Ganapin for the first time para taekwondo was in the program of the Paralympic Games. But unfortunately, they tested positive, and according to the playbook and local quarantine procedures, they couldn't go. And then, of course, we had one unfortunate athlete and a coach that also tested positive at the games already and had to be quarantined for the duration. And then we had contact tracing. I'm telling you, it was something that was on a day-to-day basis. However, our athletes stayed the course, kept their morale high, and attitudes, of course, positive. So I believe that altogether the athletes did well. And I hope that moving towards the future, moving forward, they will do much better.
How are they doing, sir? Have you checked on them? Achel, Jeanette, and Elaine, how are they doing now? How are they feeling?
Well, I spoke to, of course, Jeanette initially because she was there. You know, she's the first visually impaired athlete from the Philippines to make it to the Paralympic Games, and she was our discus thrower. And we cannot say she was not at the podium, would be a podium finish or have a podium finish. However, she was saddened, of course, the fact that she already made it there. She went through the process, and yet for some reason she was infected by the virus. So she felt bad, but of course, after a little consoling and boosting of morale, she felt that, well, there's still Paris. There's still the Asian Para Games next year in Zhangzhou, China, and hopefully the games in Vietnam, the ASEAN Para Games anyway. So she's determined to do that. And in the case of Elaine, he's 23 years old. This would have been the first time he would have participated in the Para Taekwondo, the first time in the program. But, you know, he's 23 years old. I said, look, we've got games next year. We've got the Paralympic Games in 2024 in Paris and 2028 in LA. So I think he's more than determined now to prepare for these games. And I suppose this once in every 100 years circumstances, I mean, this pandemic will not happen again. Knock on wood, of course.
Of course, of course. Sir, you mentioned it already, and I'm going to piggyback on that for my next question. A lot of our Olympians, I'm sure our Paralympians are also already thinking about Paris 2024. You touched up on it. Does the PPC have a plan already for this?
Oh, yes. Altogether, we need to look for what I mentioned in a statement I made a few days ago, that we have to go back to basic. Now, maybe targeting even up to as far as 2028 LA Paralympic Games. We're looking at reviewing our grassroots development program. We need to introduce and orient more people around the country about what para sports and the Paralympic sports are all about. We need to strengthen our classification program. We need to be able to identify the classification, the category of our para-athletes in the various disability categories they're in. I mean, I'm talking about the visually impaired, those with cerebral palsy, those with intellectual disabilities, and those, of course, with that are amputees and wheelchair users. So we need to review this. We need to go back to the Palaran Pambansa and get our para-athletes participating there, maybe the Batang Pinoy. We need to work with the Philippine Sports Commission. We need to work with the private sector. And we need to work with all those local government units around the country to strengthen the base so that we can prepare and have more athletes participating in our various competitions internationally and choose the best to participate in the Paralympic Games. We have a few that will still make it there for sure in 2024. So we're preparing this. I've spoken to Commissioner Agustin and Chairman Bush Ramirez of the Philippine Sports Commission. We will strengthen our grassroots program. Even women participation, Andre, is so important. We need to have more women included there. If you notice, our two Paralympic bronze medalists were both women. Adeline Dumapang in powerlifting, and Josephine Medina, the late, and I have to say that, the late Josephine Medina, para-table tennis in the Rio Paralympic Games. May I express our condolences, of course, to our family for the passing of our Paralympian, Josephine Medina. Yes.
Our condolences as well, sir. Marami pong salamat. Again, congratulations to our delegation there at the...
If I may, Andre,
yes, sir.
Just to quickly add.
Go ahead, sir.
We need to also have probably, considering what has happened here, if I may, we need to also look at maybe more permanent areas or practice areas, or if not places where we can train our athletes. And more local competitions, because this pandemic really hit us hard. The last time we were able to participate in international competitions was in the 2018 Asian Para Games in Jakarta, Indonesia, and that's where we did very well. So a lot of things have happened, but we will stay the course. We will soldier on, and we will push for para sports, and we will push for the Paralympic movement in our country. And with the help of you guys in the press, and media, and the private sector, and of course the government, we will achieve the aspirations and the dreams of our athletes. Thank you very much.
I agree. Thank you so much, sir. Tulong-tulong tayo. Congratulations again to our delegation. Maraming salamat. Stay safe, sir.
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay ka, sir. That was Mr. Mike Barredo, the president of the Philippine Paralympic Committee.